At the end of the Ice Age, Earth's climate was extremely harsh and unpredictable. Vast, arid grasslands were the dominant habitat, where food was never guaranteed. In this context, Homo sapiens were neither the strongest nor the fastest species. But they were the most adaptable. Their bodies had evolved for endurance. Unlike predators that relied on explosive speed, Homo sapiens brought down prey with unmatched stamina. Their hairless skin and millions of sweat glands allowed them to cool down effectively under the scorching sun, an advantage no fur-covered prey could match. The notochal ligament to stabilize the head while running, and the large gluteal muscles powered every stride. Walking upright freed their hands, but more importantly, it enabled them to carry weapons and water, extending the range of their hunts. Their larger brains, though making up only a small portion of body weight, consumed a massive amount of energy. That energy had to come from calorie-rich foods, especially meat. Group hunting was not just a strategy, it was the foundation of early communities. It required coordination, complex non-verbal communication, and a hierarchical social structure. Each successful hunt reinforced group cohesion, but each failure pushed them closer to the brink of extinction. From failed hunts, the need for survival led humans to a new source of hope, the awareness of seeds and the birth of agricultural thinking. The diet of early humans was a combination of hunting and gathering. Hunting provided rich protein, but was risky, while gathering offered a more stable supply of food. Pressure from failed hunts forced them to pay greater attention to plant sources. The most significant event was not the discovery of a new food source, but a leap in cognition. The ability to connect a tiny seed with a future field full of grain. To link today's act of planting with a full meal many moons later, this was an expression of abstract thought and long-term planning. This unique ability of Homo sapiens laid the foundation for the development of all civilizations. Abstract thought, they did not stop at the idea of planting. They began to reshape their environment, and fire became the powerful tool for this turning point. Controlling fire was an ancient technology, dating back to Homo erectus. But using fire as a tool to transform landscapes on a large scale was a breakthrough. This marked the beginning of a micro-Anthropocene, when humans began shaping their environment instead of passively adapting to it. Slash-and-burn agriculture was a primitive, yet highly effective technique. Fire cleared competing vegetation quickly. More importantly, the ash became natural fertilizer, drastically boosting soil fertility for a short time. In doing so, they unintentionally recreated the natural process of wildfires, but with purpose and control. Deliberately burning a plot of land reflected a fundamental shift in the relationship between humans and nature. From being merely part of nature, they began actively transforming it to serve their needs, inaugurating a completely new mode of production. Not every experiment succeeded. The failure of the first crops was a harsh reminder of humanity's dependence on environmental factors. But it also highlighted a defining trait of Homo sapiens, the ability to learn from mistakes and innovate systematically. This was the earliest form of iterative design. When faced with failure, the Homo sapiens brain sought solutions. Recognizing that natural objects like an animal skull or a turtle shell could be repurposed for entirely different uses was a major leap in tool-making thought. The ability to redefine the function of objects in their environment was the root of technological invention. This marked the beginning of humanity's water management era. Agricultural improvements not only provided food, but also compelled humans to stay in one place longer. The shift to a sedentary lifestyle was one of the most profound and transformative changes in human history. It changed not just how people fed themselves, but also their social structures, psychology, and even biology. Farmland became a valuable asset, forcing humans to abandon their nomadic lifestyle of hundreds of thousands of years. This was the beginning of settled life. Settlement created entirely new selective pressures. Protecting food from competitors required labor division and organized watch. Building sturdier dwellings instead of temporary shelters gave rise to the concept of house and village. For the first time in history, a piece of land became the center of human life. From the idea of land and crops, their vision expanded. Not only plants, but also animals could be domesticated for long-term benefit. The shift in mindset from kill for immediate food to raise for long-term use was another turning point. Domesticating animals was a complex process, likely originating from chance events such as this. Capturing and keeping an animal alive provided not just meat reserves, but also opened the possibility of milk, hides, and labor. Over time, this process influenced the genetics of goats. Humans unconsciously or deliberately selected traits they preferred: docility, less fear, higher milk yield. This artificial selection altered morphology and behavior, creating animals fully dependent on humans for survival, a living tool. The relationship between humans and other species was forever changed. The leopard's attack was a harsh test for the new community structure. It was not just a clash between Homo sapiens and another predator, but a conflict between two worlds: the instinct-driven wild and the human world, built upon the concept of property. Sedentary life and the accumulation of assets crops, livestock gave rise to a new idea: ownership. And with ownership came the need to defend it. Predators were no longer only a threat to individual survival, but a violation of the community's collective wealth. This collective defense forged powerful cohesion. It demanded tight coordination, courage, and sacrifice for the common good. Blood was spilled not for a single meal, but to protect the labor and future of the group, embedding the foundations of rules and order into community consciousness. As communities grew more complex and wealth accumulated, the human brain began to hit memory limits. Inventing external recording systems, even simple tally marks, was a major leap in information storage. For the first time, knowledge could exist independently of any individual, passed on and verified. This was the seed of writing and mathematics. At the same time, stable food and surplus freed them from constant foraging. In moments free from survival concerns, art was born. A clay figurine had no practical use, but immense symbolic value. It told a story, it conveyed an idea, and reflected humanity's ability to recreate the world in their minds and express it in material form. Yet even with knowledge and tools, mastery of land and domestication of animals, humans remained powerless against nature's great forces, such as climate.
Không còn gì cả.
When faced with problems beyond control or comprehension, human thought turned toward another dimension, spirituality and ritual. Creating sacred symbols like fertility figurines, and performing collective dances were attempts to communicate with and influence the invisible world. While rituals had no actual effect on the weather, they played a critical social role binding communities. Easing fear and reinforcing shared belief during crises. Agriculture and craft specialization produced something unprecedented surplus. This surplus drove a new form of community interaction, material exchange. Encounters and exchanges among different groups brought not only new resources, like salt and rare materials, but also shared experiences, tools, and even genetic diversity. These early trade networks broke the isolation of small communities, linking them together, broadening worldviews, and fostering development on a larger scale. With her large brain and skillful hands, this woman is doing more than just searching for food or crafting stone tools. She is engaging in something far beyond immediate survival creation. The ability for abstract thought and to imagine things that do not exist in reality marks a great leap in cognitive evolution. This act of molding clay is not merely a pastime. It may be a ritual to pray for abundance for her group, a way to remember and convey stories about the sacred world, or a means to strengthen social bonds within her small community. Each figure she shapes, whether animal or human, is a symbol, a testament to the awakening of a complex inner world. In the brutal struggle for survival, the ability to communicate and cooperate socially became our most powerful weapon. Symbolic objects like these laid the foundation for the development of language, belief, and culture, the very elements that would come to define humanity and enable our species to dominate the planet. Exchanges brought more than salt, stone, or tools. They spread new ways of controlling energy and tools. The development of high-temperature kilns for pottery accidentally opened the door to an entirely new material world. Smelting ore to create metal was an accidental but historic breakthrough. Metal, being both hard and malleable, surpassed stone in every way. It did not shatter but deformed, and could be remelted and reused. This discovery did not just produce a new material. It signaled the end of the Stone Age and the beginning of a new chapter in human history, an age defined by metal, fire, and limitless possibilities.